Hello, this is Roland. Welcome. Today I want to talk about a beautiful little phrase that's found in one of Paul's epistles. He talks about the God of all comfort. The God of all comfort. It's a beautiful, beautiful phrase. I want to talk about the God of all comfort. A lot of people have anxiety. They need comfort. They're insecure. Now, what's missing? You are not going to find the kind of comfort that your soul needs. You're not going to find it in marijuana or alcohol or in people, hanging around with people. You're not going to find it in food. A lot of people look for comfort in food. The kind of comfort that you need, you can only find in God. Now the question is, why aren't you comforted by God? You see, we're not animals. Yes, we're part earth. And in fact, we're fallen creatures. So we have to eat, and we have to drink water, and sleep, and do the things that animals do. But we're not animals. We have a soul. We have a consciousness. We have an awareness. And we become aware. The way you know that the Garden of Eden story is true, that we are fallen. We're not risen. We're not risen apes. We're fallen. And the way you know that, and the way you know that you need God, the way you know that is because your consciousness, your awareness, in your consciousness, in your awareness, you sense something wrong, something missing. That's it. Something missing. Something wrong. Something out of whack. Something not quite right. You sense it. Now, how do you sense that? Well, it's your awareness. And so that's one of the most basic things that we can start with. That's very basic. You sense something's wrong, so you look for what it might be. And you think that finding a boyfriend or girlfriend, that's the first thing we look for, right? But you found out that's not the answer. Then the next thing is food. Well, food is nice, but it's not the answer. And you try all kinds of things. More degrees, more knowledge, more everything. Try everything. Nothing is the answer. As nice as some things might be, not the answer. Then eventually you go to drugs, marijuana, alcohol, trying to find something to comfort this sense of something not being right. Well, if that's the truth, then that's the truth. Now, what is not right? It's that you're separated from your Father. There's a very apt analogy, very, very apt. Things happen at corresponding levels. Something that happens at a higher level happens at a lower level, or what happens at the macro level happens at the micro level a lot of times. You know that. Well, when you have a little kid, and the kid is separated from his parent, or from her parent, then what's that called? That's called separation anxiety. Have you ever felt that when you were a little child? All of a sudden your child is, your mom's not there. Where's mom? Mommy? Or daddy? Where's daddy? Daddy was holding my hand, and I went to look at those flowers, and now daddy's gone. Daddy. Do you remember that? Or how about as a parent? You're out with your child, you're out in the park, and all of a sudden you look around and your child is not there. It's a profound anxiety. We've all felt it as children or as parents. It's a profound, universal anxiety. Well, it's very similar It's the same thing, really. But it's just more subtle and hard, and you don't see it quite. And that is your separation from God causes anxiety. And so it's not a bad thing. You realize, where's Daddy? See, Father. Jesus called God Father. Dad. See, there's something special too about Dad. You hear the word Dad, sometimes you want to cry. It's beautiful. Okay? Well, we're separated from our Heavenly Father. But it can have a happy ending. You can re-find Him. And it's a magnificent journey. Like movies. The only one I know to refer to is because I remember seeing it when I was younger. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Or Star Wars. Or on television, Star Trek. I'm sure there are other newer adventures, movies and television programs, but I'm just thinking of those because they're very apt. Especially like Raiders of the Lost Ark, looking for something. Well, you've heard there's a phrase, and it goes something like this, or a saying, we're looking for the Father we've never known. Now, we're born first of the earth, and so you relate to things of the earth. Your parents, your siblings, your puppy, your cat, things around you, school. You relate to them. But always, there's more, something more. And so that something more people search out in the world for it. They look for adventures. They go to tropical islands or to the side of a mountain somewhere. They go to a monastery, or they go mountain climbing, or they go skydiving, or they go through the halls of academia, or through the corporate world, the corridors of the corporate world. They travel. They look for it everywhere. They go to different churches, different religious practices, and different self-help groups, and they're always looking for it. But it's there to be found. It's there to be found. But what is needed is a turning. A turning. How can I say this? See, there has to be some kind of a protocol or a sequence of things to do. Anything you do, if you want to get a driver's license, well, then you have to fill out paperwork, and you have to get a picture, and you have to study, and you have to take a test, and then you go for a driving test, and there's things you do. Anything you like that. You get a job, well, you go make a resume and send it in, or put, attach it to an email and send it, and then you go for the interview, and you got to go for a physical, and there's just all these different things to do. See? Well, if you were going to visit, let's say, the president of some country, president of a country, somebody very important, just barge in. There's protocol, there's steps you have to take before finally you're granted an interview. If you are, you may not be, but if you are, you have to do things, and you can't just dress like a slob. You have to dress properly. It's a lot of things involved. There's always something involved with anything that's worthwhile, isn't there, okay? Well, coming back to God has things involved, but it's not necessarily what other people say it is. See? They try to claim, well, you come back to God through them. See? They're jumping through hoops for them. But no. God has his own ways. And if you truly come back to God, it has to be the way he wants it to be. Okay? The way he wants it to be, not what somebody says, but the way he wants it to be. In fact, he will initiate it. If you want to, it's magic. It's absolute magic. Everything God does is magic. The way a butterfly flies or comes out of a cocoon, or the way the stars shine, the way a rose unfolds. Everything he does is sheer magic. The way the water scintillates in the sunlight. Just magic. So somehow, have you ever seen like a fantasy movie, or a movie about where there's a princess, or and somebody nice that has magical powers, who, you know what I mean, like they have a magic wand, but they're good. And somehow, when you wish for something, then the good fairy, that's it, like a good fairy. You wish for something, and the good fairy answers. So what is the first thing then? The first thing is to wish. And then the good fairy answers. If you have no wish, good fairy won't answer. See what I mean? So it begins with somehow deep in your being, this wanting wanting something good, something pure, something noble, something that a good father would represent. Even bad fathers, say, represent it. Bad fathers do a lousy job, but nevertheless they represent what is good, what is right, what is fair, what is that, don't they? Well, you yearn for what is good and right and what is fair and just, and so on. You yearn for that. You don't even know what it is, but you just have a yearning for it. Well, that's it. God hears that. See, it's that sincere cry of the soul. The cry of the soul is silent and without complaint. You yearn for the Father you've never known. Let's put it that way, something like that. You don't know you're yearning for the Father, but that's what it is. And he answers. And then it begins. You begin to come back to him. Okay? It's magic. Absolute magic. It's not for everyone. For some people, they're not a bit interested. They don't like the truth. They don't want to know the truth. They don't yearn for anything good. They yearn for selfish advantage or something. Who knows? Anyway, I don't know what else I can say except to yearn for that good. Now you see, the evil one, or the ones who are his servants, his dupes. Well, they tell you, well, there is no God. There's no such thing as good. There's no such thing as truth. See, they just lie. Lie, lie, lie. They don't even know they're lying. Maybe they do. See, maybe they know they're lying, but usually they sort of know. You sometimes see that in the face of someone that's pretty slimy. You know, you see something in their face where you can tell that they know what they're doing, but they do it anyway because they enjoy it. See, they don't yearn for what's good and true. They yearn for something rotten. So they know. But a lot of people, they don't know. They don't know. They're just mouthing what they've heard, what they've been programmed, what's been said to them. See. And so you just have to let it go in one ear and out the other. Let the lies go in one ear and out the other. And just know what you know in your heart. And if you don't know, just wait until you do know and yearn for what's true. Wait until you find it, because you will find it. If you search, if your search is sincere, see, then God will answer. But it's an adventure. See, it's an adventure. Every good novel, every good story, every good movie. Well, you know, like two people, they like each other and they want to meet each other, or they want to go out, they want to get married, but something stands in their way, right? Something stands in their way. So or several things stand in their way. And so the excitement, what makes the story interesting is you want to see whether they will ever overcome those things that stand in the way. So there are things that stand in the way of coming back to God. Okay? So what makes the whole thing interesting is to see whether those will be overcome. See, Christ overcame them all. In fact, he sort of did it for you already. Not that there aren't things you have to do on your own, sort of. See, if the door opens, then you have to go through the door. You see what I mean? So you're not really doing something, but if there's an opportunity, for example, there's a wonderful opportunity, door opens, you know, figuratively speaking. Well, you have to go through the door. If you don't go through the door, it doesn't happen. See what I mean? So, you got to go through the door. Yeah, you have to hold your ground sometimes. Yeah, you have to watch and not fall into the trap. Yeah, you have to sometimes say no to something that's not quite right. Even though you don't know why it's not right, you just sense it's not right, you say no. See? So it's not much. There's not much you have to do. Very little. Very little. You must accept, just yearn for what is right. See, that's pure. Nobody can take that from you. See? They can tell you all the lies in the world. There's no truth, there's no good, blah, blah, blah. But they can't take away your yearning. My name is Roland.